Everton Football Club currently sit 19th in the Premier League after being docked 10 whole points for breaking FFP rules. This is the first club in the history of the Premier League to receive such a big point reduction. After a very promising start to the season under Sean Dyche, they got 14 points in their very first 12 games, but now are under serious threat of relegation. So I think we should rebuild the Toffees and we should do it the Sean Dyche way. And of course, if you are looking forward to this one, smash that like button. And if you are new around here, please hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 500 subs. So let's jump into the Everton team. Just before the video starts, then I thought I would let you guys know I also will be streaming on Twitch. I will be playing my PC RTG on Ultimate Team, and also very soon streaming a new career mode where I'll be playing every single game. So please subscribe if you want to keep up to date with all the new content. But this is of course the Everton team, and honestly, this should not get relegated. The main man up top then, DCL Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Unbelievable striker when he was in his pomp, but unfortunately has suffered injury after injury after injury, and hopefully we can rebuild him as well as Everton to make him one of the best English strikers around. Now in terms of Everton's midfield, I think this is a real strong point for them. Decore and Onana are absolute physical specimens and of all the pace and power in the world. And I really like the acquisitions of Dwight McNeil and of course Jack Harrison from Leeds. Very Sean Dyche players, but I think they will be a key part to how we're going to want to play with this team. But I do think the back line is where Everton's weakest spot is. Mykolenko is a very solid left back, but I think we can definitely improve. Branthwaite is someone I hope we can develop for the future, as I think he's a very solid young defender. And to be honest, I am a fan of Tarkowski, but of course he is not the youngest anymore, so maybe be looking to replace him for the long term. And of course, Ashley Young is now 37 years of age, so I think it's definitely time we look for a long-term replacement. And regarding the substitutes and the reserves, I am a massive fan of Beto. I am a big follower of Italian football, and he was a beast for Udinese, and I think he one day will be a massive player for Everton Football Club. And after being robbed by Tottenham to sign Danjuma in January last year, they finally got their man, and I think he's had a very promising start to his Everton career. Now, in terms of how I'm going to set up this Everton team, we are going full Sean Dyche ball. I think he's a very underrated manager, and it is a bit of a myth that he plays 4-4-2 long ball. I think he's got a lot more in his locker. But let's tick all the stereotypes. In this rebuild, we're going to try and go as homegrown as possible, play a flat 4-4-2, direct football, and get it up to the big strikers and score as many goals as possible. So I'm going with a front two of Beto and Calvert-Lewin. You don't get many big target men duos better than that. And a midfield two of Onana and Decore, the beasts of a central midfield duo. And of course, Dwight McNeil and Jack Harrison to whip those balls in from the left and the right wing. So who will I be looking to keep and who am I looking to sell? Like I mentioned, I think a massive thing Everton need to do is replace some of their older defenders with some more young, higher potential players. So I definitely will be looking potentially for a long-term replacement for Mykolenko and of course Tarkowski and Keane. And the right back position is aging to say the least, with a 37-year-old Ashley Young and a 34-year-old legend in Seamus Coleman. So might look to get rid of one of the two this summer and bring in a younger, better player. And honestly, I love Everton's midfield. They have a lot of different options. They have the pace and power with Onana and Decore, and they have a bit more technical ability with players like James Garner, who has a very bright future, and of course Andre Gomez, who comes back to the club after a year away in France. I think the front two are definitely going to be the men we keep and invest all of our time in this very first season, with the option of the young Portuguese striker Tramiti, obviously, and of course Danjuma, who could even play out on the wing if we need him to, but definitely will be looking to someone we keep for the long term. So first bit of business, then I thought I would sell a few players who I think are definitely not the long-term vision for this club. and I decided to sell Michael Keane to Real Betis, which is a bit of a bizarre signing, but I will take the £11 million of him, and hopefully we can reinvest that into the team. And in terms of some of the other outgoings, we have decided to sell Dele Alli to West Ham. Again, just not really a part of the long-term plans for this team. We've also decided to loan out youngster Nathan Patterson for a year to Aston Villa, so hopefully he can come back and push for a starting spot next season. Young players Ashley and Dobbin have also gone out on loan. Wasn't really planning on using Andre Gomez this season, and I've decided to sell him to Sporting Lisbon for £7.5 million. And also wasn't really sure what to do with Shamiti this season. I think he has a bag of potential, so I thought he definitely won't be a starter for us for this year. So let's loan him out to Stade Rennais and see how much he can develop. So the first player I've decided to bring into Everton is a new younger right back to replace Ashley Young and of course Seamus Coleman. And I've decided to bring in the young right back from Southampton, Kyle Walker-Peters. I think Kyle Walker-Peters is super versatile, can play left back and right back, and has had very solid seasons in the Premier League, and of course is currently playing in the Championship. But I think he's ready to make a big move and really step up and be the main man for Everton. Second signing then, and I've decided to bring in some much needed competition on that left and right hand side, and potentially even a starter in my honest opinion. No shock to most people, I'm a massive Arsenal fan, so I've decided of course to bring in Reiss Nelson. A player who just doesn't get any game time for Arsenal in real life, and I think is a huge talent with so much potential. And I think we can make him the main man for Everton. So going into season 1 then, and this is how the team is looking. I've only made the 2 signings, but I thought it would be good to freshen up the team. And of course, Everton don't have the most money in the world due to their financial fair play restrictions, is why they got their 10-point deduction. So I thought I'd bring in a few new faces just to freshen up the team. Of course, we're going with Beto and DCL up front, 2 brutes of strikers. McNeil and Nelson on the right and left hand side to whip those crosses into the big men. Of course, the beastly duo of Onana and Decore in midfield. Backline of Mikalenko, Branthwaite, Tarkowski and new boy Kyle Walker-Peters, and of course Jordan Pickford in net. But on the bench, we have some amazing options of Danjuma and Harrison to change the game, and of course young boy Garner and an experienced defensive midfielder Idrissa Gana Gueye. So let's jump into season 1 then and see how we do with this Everton team in the mold of Sean Dyche. Hopefully we don't get relegated. End of season 1 then, and did we manage to not get relegated? We did a lot better than that actually. We managed to finish mid-table and finish in 9th place. I think if Everton managed to finish in 9th place in real life, the fans would be absolutely ecstatic after flirting with relegation for years upon years now. Very predictably, the 3 that ended up getting relegated are of course the new boys Sheffield United, Burnley and Luton Town. And I think in real life this possibly might be the case, and why Everton will stay up even though they do now have a 10-point deduction. So in terms of the other domestic competitions, we are not in the final of the FA Cup. Fulham, who have had an amazing run by the looks of it, have actually drew Man City in the final. But we did get knocked out by the same Fulham team in the semi-finals. That is super frustrating, because that is surely a real opportunity for us to win some domestic silverware in this very first season. And to make matters worse, in the Carabao Cup, we actually got to the final. What a season this would have been if we actually got some trophies as well as finishing in mid-table, losing out to Man City in a very narrow 2-1 defeat. Let's jump into the stats then, and Beto, the new Portuguese striker, is absolutely hit the ground running with 29 goals in his very first season. That is unbelievable. DCL also chipping in with the goals. No small feat to score 17 and 12 in the Premier League. The front 2 is definitely the 2 men we relied on all season and have definitely made us where we are in the table. Nelson with an unbelievable first season, getting double figures in goals and assists as well. And a great season from midfield Abdoulaye Doucouré, chipping in with the 7 goals. So this is how the squad has ended up looking at the end of season 1. Of course, the main 2 men up front, DCL and Beto, absolute incredible seasons, and definitely will be our strike partnership to come in the coming years. Dwight McNeil and Reece Nelson both had solid seasons on the wing. No need to upgrade for them immediately, in my opinion, unless an opportunity arises. And the midfield beastly duo of Decore and Onana were absolutely brilliant. Unfortunately, Branthwaite got a serious injury. His ACL and is out for 5 months, so we did have to rely on Ben Godfrey and Tarkowski as a back two. So I think a priority in the next transfer window will be bringing a new first choice centre back. Kyle Walker-Peters has developed very nicely. He's now 77 rated and definitely will be the first choice right back going forward. But I think we're definitely going to have to upgrade on that left back position. First bit of business in season 2 then. I made it a priority to sell Neal Maupay, as I honestly believe he is the worst striker in the Premier League. This guy, all he does is wind up opponents and never score goals. Get out of my club. First signing of season 2 then, and I've decided to address the position of left back and bring in the man from Crystal Palace, Tyreek Mitchell. Absolutely love this player in real life. Think he's got a bright future ahead. I don't think it'll be too long in real life before he joins one of the big teams in the country. If not as a backup, then definitely a first choice starter. Second signing through the door, and I've decided to splash the cash and finally save Calvin Phillips from Manchester City. I didn't really want to upgrade my midfield, but I thought this was an opportunity I could not refuse. Calvin Phillips has moved to Manchester City a year or so ago now and just does never play. I don't think Pep actually rates him as a player very highly. I do feel sorry for him, but then again, he's won about 10 trophies already, so how can you really be upset? But now finally he's going to be the main man in a team again and be playing week in and week out. So I decided to bring in a new centre-back, and the first time we're not actually signing a homegrown British player. We have gone to Brentford to pick up the giant Christoph Ayer, the 6'5" beast of a defender. I've been following Ayer since his Celtic days and I've always been a huge fan. I think he's been absolutely killing it at Brentford, and I think maybe one day he could even make a bigger move. Last signing of the summer transfer window then. We need some backup at that left and right side, as we have lost Jack Harrison back to Leeds as he was only on loan. And I decided to pick up the man from Bournemouth, Marcus Tavernier, the young English winger. I think he's going to offer great competition to Nelson and McNeil and even potentially be a starter. So jumping into season 2, and this is how the squad is looking. The main two men, Beto and Calvert-Lewin up front, with McNeil and Nelson on the wings. And a new midfield partnership of Onana and Phillips, and of course Decore isn't too far behind. Then you have new boy Mitchell, Branthwaite, Ayer and Walker, and of course the main man Jordan Pickford in goal. But we do have Chimiti, who we did loan out last season, got some valuable game time. He will definitely be a great backup striker, with new boy Tavernier on the bench who can make a difference whenever he is called upon. We got into the top half for the very first time last season. Let's see how this new Everton team can progress and hopefully maybe even knock on the door for those European competitions. End of season 2, and ladies and gentlemen, this team has overperformed. We have finished 5th in the Premier League. How has this team done so well? Not only just finished 5th, but literally missed out on the top 4 by 1 whole point. What an unbelievable season from this team. When we finished in the top half last season, I thought we definitely can slowly but surely progress into those European positions. Maybe get 8th or 7th this year, but I was not expecting 5th place. What an unbelievable turnaround. Unfortunately, we didn't do as well in the domestic competitions this year, getting knocked out in the 4th round from a replay against Spurs, who finished 3-1. And we only made it to round 2, the first round we enter in the Carabao Cup, losing 13-12. That's right, 13-12 in a crazy penalty shootout against West Ham. In terms of the stats, and once again, the main man Beto with the 23 goals this season, and DCL with 14. Both strikers absolutely being clinical in front of goal, and absolutely love this deadly duo. Reece Nelson with another solid season as well, 12 goals and 9 assists, slowly but surely progressing into the winger that he is meant to be. A really solid first season contribution from Calvin Phillips, who's now an 81 rated, 5 goals and 4 assists for the defensive midfielder. This is the team for the start of Season 3, then an absolutely overperforming team in my opinion, managing to finish in 5th place and get the Europa League football. I think now we're back in Europe, I think we're going to have to do some heavy investment in this team. Very happy with how it's looking at the moment, but I think we need to make some drastic improvements to kick on and hopefully remain in those European positions. So the first signing I've decided to bring in this window, spent very big on Harvey Barnes. I thought this is very much a Sean Dyche kind of signing. Brilliant left winger. Thought it'd be a great upgrade on the wingers we've got at the moment and offers unbelievable competition. We have so many good wingers right now. So I thought I would add some massive competition at centre-back to Aya and Brantford and splash the cash on Mark Guéhi from Crystal Palace. He is developing really nicely on this game. He's an 81 rated at this moment. I know his potential is super high, so I think this can be the man to lead us into glory. Season 3 then, back in European football for the Toffees, and this is the team we have assembled. Beto, an 85 rated striker now. What an unbelievable player he's been, and so has DCL. Unfortunately not developed as much as I like, only an 81 rated, so maybe he could be someone we look to upgrade if he doesn't get any better this season. But on the wings now we have Harvey Barnes, Reece Nelson, Tavernier and McNeil all to choose from. Now we have European football. We're going to need a lot of depth and creativity. Midfield, we still have Calvin Phillips and Onana, the experience and the youth, both developing nicely. Love this midfield pairing and not going to be changing it anytime soon. And we have a new backline of Mitchell, Guéhi, Aya and Walker Peters. Really excited to see how this develops between Guéhi and Aya. And of course we do have Brantford on the bench to develop as he's still super young. Back in European football then, let's see how we do in Season 3. End of Season 3 and oh boy, this team just keeps surprising me. Champions League football for the Toffees. Top 3. Everton in the Champions League. What an unbelievable season. It was unfortunately our Merseyside rivals Liverpool who won the league and Manchester City in the top 2. But us and Spurs make up the rest of the top 4, with Manchester United just missing out. We unfortunately didn't get to any domestic cup finals this year. The FA Cup is between City and Leicester, and the Carabao Cup was won by Aston Villa against league winners Liverpool. And of course we were in the Europa League this year, and did we make the final? Unfortunately not. Newcastle and AC Milan. What an unbelievable final. That is a Champions League game happening right now, so what a game. We unfortunately only got to the quarters, but how can we be mad at that? Only narrowly missing out to Manchester United. Just super frustrating playing against an English team and losing, but what a stacked Europa League this was. Beto. 37 goals and 28 in the Premier League. We have possibly the best striker in European football in our team right now. Harvey Barnes with an unbelievable first season with 21 goals. Chimetti, the youngster, is slowly but surely taking the reins from DCL with 14 goals. And the English international, even though has gone up 2 ratings, only managed 11 goals in 34 games this year. Calvin Phillips and Onana, both of them chipping in with a few goals and assists. And Calvin Phillips is now an 83 overall. So this is how the team is looking at the end of Season 3, and it's absolutely coming along amazingly. Beto and Calvert-Lewin, our strike force from the very beginning. I have no words to describe this man. What an absolute goal machine. The wingers and Barnes and Nelson, Tavernier and McNeil are absolutely amazing and can interchange. Nice development between Phillips and Onana. I actually really forgot how young Onana is. He's only just turned 24 into this game and slowly but surely becoming a really top midfielder. And in terms of the back then, Tyrick Mitchell, Guéhi, Aya and Peters, very solid, but maybe now we're in the Champions League, we need to make some huge investments in that department, especially at this right back position. So we start off this season with a huge departure. Dwight McNeil, who's been here with us from the very start. I've sold him to Arsenal for £47 million. And the reason why, well, you'll see why. The reason is because we are splashing the cash and making a marquee signing in the attack. I'm bringing Jadon Sancho to the club and saving him from Erik ten Hag and Manchester United. Time to reinvigorate his career. It's the perfect time for him to move to Everton. We're back in the Champions League and I think he can be the difference maker. Second signing then, and I finally decided to upgrade in that right back position. And that man, as you can see, is Tino Livramento from Newcastle United. Just watched him have an unbelievable game against PSG in the Champions League in real life. And honestly think this boy has all the potential to be maybe one of the right backs the Premier League has ever seen. And the final signing of the transfer window is to bolster that defence once again and bring in Ezri Konsa at centre-back to play alongside his international teammate Mark Guéhi. Konsa is now 28 in this game and is an 83 rated, so has developed absolutely amazingly, the player from Aston Villa. And I think him and Guéhi are going to form an unbelievable partnership in defence. Going into Season 4 then, and I love the look of this team. The British core, the Sean Dyche 4-4-2 is in full effect. Beto and Lewin, we've had them from the very start and are still our main front two men and absolutely killing it. Jadon Sancho and Harvey Barnes on either wing, causing absolute chaos. Onana and Phillips in the middle, and a new backline of Mitchell, Guéhi, Konsa, Livramento, and of course Jordan Pickford. What a team, and hopefully we can maybe come close to maybe even winning the title this season. Let's see how we get on in Season 4 with this homegrown Sean Dyche Everton team. End of Season 4 then, and ladies and gentlemen, Sean Dyche's Everton have won the Premier League at a canter, by the way. 92 points, only losing 2 games all season. What an unbelievable team we are built in the image of Sean Dyche. Man City were our closest challengers on 81 points, but honestly, we basically won the league by 10-11 points. It was super easy. What a season. We didn't win the FA Cup, unfortunately. That is a final between Man City and Liverpool, so still a chance for Pep to win some silverware this year. And unfortunately, we didn't get the Carabao Cup over the line. Arsenal finally winning that in my lifetime for like the first time, as Arsenal never seemed to win that cup, but beating Newcastle 2-1. And unfortunately, we didn't get into the final of the Champions League. As you can see, Tottenham Hotspur getting there once again after losing to Liverpool a few years ago against Real Madrid. Please, Real Madrid, absolutely destroy them. But how did we do in that competition? So we did actually make it to the quarterfinals, getting absolutely destroyed by AS Monaco. But I must say, the fact we've managed to win the league and get to a quarterfinals with Sean Dyche's Everton, what a rebuild this has been. Let's jump into the stats, and of course, the main man Beto, 88 rated striker now, 32 goals, 10 assists. I honestly am so surprised of how well he has done in this rebuild. I was not expecting it at all. Harvey Barnes seems to be a shrewd signing from his 23 goals and 12 assists from the English winger. And DCL still managing to contribute and ended up as an 83 rated striker by the age of 30. And new boy Jadon Sancho, 86 rated with 10 goals and 8 assists. So this is how the final team ended up. This has been a super fun rebuild. Beto and DCL, Sancho, Barnes, Onana and Phillips, Mitchell, Guéhi, Konsa, Livramento and Jordan Pickford. We have made a team in the image of Sean Dyche. 4-4-2, direct football, low block, homegrown talent, and we have won the English Premier League. Last thing, of course, the streets of Merseyside are painted in blue as the Toffees are champions of the Premier League, and Sean Dyche gets his hands on the English title. This has been a super fun rebuild. I hope you have enjoyed it, and smash that like button. And if you are new, please subscribe to get all up-to-date content and follow the channel. Please get in the comments down below and let me know who you want me to rebuild next, of course, and any challenges you want to see me do. And as mentioned at the start of the video, we will be streaming live on Twitch, so please click the link in the description to follow me on there. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you in the next one.